there. Have a nice day to all of you. I'm Abha Kispota and today I'm going to represent my research presentation on the hypothesis. Basically, the hypothesis is an intelligent prediction by the researcher. Through this hypothesis, the researcher carry on their study till the end of the research study. And another thing we can say that it is a formal tentative statement of the expectation relationship between the two or more variable under the study. So we can define as, according to Polite and Beck, hypothesis defined as a statement of researcher expectation about relationship between the variable under investigation. And another definition is, according to Good and Hertz, hypothesis is a skewed guess or inference and is formulated by provisional adapted to explain observed facts and condition and to guide in further investigation. This is about definition. Next we will see about the importance of hypothesis. So first thing is enable the research to investigate objectively for a new area of discovery. Thus, it provides a powerful tool for the adjustment of knowledge. Another thing is provide objectivity to research activity. This activity to formulate of hypothesis provide a study with focus and guide the researcher about the specific aspect of the research problem in investigates. Next one is provide direction and conduct research. Through the direction, the researcher find out that what kind of data to be collected and what not to be collected, thereby providing the focus to be studied. Next one is it provide direction to conduct research. Next one is link theory and practice and bridge between theory and reality. And the main important thing of the hypothesis is, without the hypothesis the research would be like aimless. Next we will discuss about the characteristic of good hypothesis. So first one is the conceptual clarity. Hypothesis should consist of clearly defined and understandable concept. It should be started with the clear terms and the meaningful words. Next we will see about the empirical reference. The hypothesis is generally must be formulated based on the concepts that are empirical tested. Next, objectivity, because the objectivity of hypothesis provide an effective guidance to a researcher about what to be measured and how to be measured. Next, specificity. The good hypothesis should be specific, not general, and should explain the expected relationship between the variable. Next, relevant. It is closely related to the problem as well as the objective of the study. Testable. It must be a directly or indirectly observable and measurable. Next one is a consistency. Simplicity, because a hypothesis should be formulated in a simple and understandable term. Next, available of techniques, means whatever the research is going on, that should be a researcher must be sure that the methods are available for the testing their purpose of the hypothesis. Next, persuasiveness. Next, verifiability. Next, profoundability of effect. It should be have a profound effect under a variable of the research. And last one is the economical. Next we will discuss about the sources of hypothesis. So they generate variety of sources for hypothesis. In this, the first one is a theoretical and conceptual framework, previous research finding. Third one is a real life experience, and last one is a academic literature. So let's see one by one of source of hypothesis. So first source is theoretical or conceptual framework. So this is one of the most important source for hypothesis, and this deductive approach are form a theoretical and conceptual framework for testing the hypothesis. Second one is a previous research finding. Through this, the previous research finding, we can use these research to formulate a new research finding. Like for example, previously, for example, one researcher is conduct a study and that find out that the many of the people is admitted in a hospital due to the coronavirus and decrease their immunity power. This research can be formulated with a new study like the law of immunity power that increase the risks of the coronavirus. Third one is a real life experience. So in this, the researcher or an individual, whatever they just experience in their life, they can formulate as a hypothesis. For example, Newton just lying in under the tree of apple simply, and suddenly the apple is fallen down. After that, he just formulate the hypothesis that apple is fallen down because of the central gravity. Many of the research is conducted, and after that he just generated the law of gravity. Last and fourth one is academic literature. So academic literature is based on the theories, empirical evidence, experience, observation and conceptualization academics. Next we will discuss about the type of hypothesis. So in first type is simple and complex. In simple hypothesis, it is a statement that reflects the between two variables. For example, the lower level of the hemoglobin, the higher the risk of the infection among postpartum women. And if you take a present example like a low immunity power people have a higher risk of infection of coronavirus. Right? And another thing is complex hypothesis. Hypothesis, it is a statement that is reflect the relationship between more than two variables. Okay? In simple hypothesis, there is a reflex between the two variables, and in a complex hypothesis, there is a relationship between more than a two variables. For example, the satisfaction is higher among people who are older and dwelling in rural area than those who are younger and dwelling in urban area. A simple example and a present example can be a satisfaction or a low chance of get a coronavirus among patients who are do a 7-step of hand washing rather than those who are just simply do their hand washing. Next type is the associative and causal hypothesis. In associative hypothesis, it reflects a relationship between variables that occur or exist in nature setting. Means it is exists in a nature setting without manipulating. It uses correlation research study. And in causal hypothesis, it predicts the causal and effect relationship between two or more dependent and independent variables. Next type is the directional and non-directional hypothesis. So directional hypothesis, it is a state the nature of the relationship between two or more variables such as positive, negative or no relationship. So in this, the positive relationship between year of nursing experience and job satisfaction among the nurse can be an example of the direction hypothesis. And next one is a non-directive hypothesis. It reflects the relationship between two or more variables but does not specify the anticipation direction and nature of the relationship, such as a positive or negative. Means in direction, there will be a relationship between two or more variable. But in non-direction hypothesis, there will be a no relationship, like a positive or negative. In this, we can take same example. For there is a relationship between year of nursing experience and job satisfaction among nurses. Next one is the null and research hypothesis. So in null hypothesis, it is also known as a statistical hypothesis, and it is used for a statistical and interpretation of a statistical outcome. In this, it states the existence of no relationship between the independent and dependent variable. For example, there will be a no relationship between the smoking and the coronavirus. There will be a no relationship. Next one is a research hypothesis. Research hypothesis, it also known as the alternative hypothesis. It states the existing of relationship between the two or more variable. It means in null hypothesis there will be a no relationship, and in research hypothesis there will be an existing relationship between the two or more variable. For example, there is a relationship between the smoking and the lung cancer. Next, we will discuss about the formulating hypothesis. Before formulating the any hypothesis, we just kept some point in our mind, such as hypotheses are always written before starting the study and should not be changed after the study results are examined. Okay, that should be written in starting and should not be changed. Next is the researcher use null form as well as the alternative form for formulating the research hypothesis. The types of the research like null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis should be used to formulate the hypothesis. The four main components that should be kept in our mind is dependent and independent variable, nature of the relationship between the dependent and independent variable, subject in population being studied, the level of significance of expecting rejection the hypothesis. It should be started using declarative sentence and present tense. It must start is empirical testable form. The number of hypotheses should be restricted to the 6 or less, because the hypothesis needs to be confused and increase the work in data collection, analysis and interpretation of data. So it should be restricted to 6 or less than a 6. There is some criteria to evaluate your hypothesis. Like you can just put some questions to evaluate, like is each hypothesis is cleared and precise worded? Is the hypothesis is written in a present tense? Is the hypothesis is linked with your problems, your operational definition or your theories in the study? And you can also put some question like is the hypothesis having a independent or dependent variable? Like that we can just put some questions and we can evaluate our hypothesis. I hope so you all understand what is the hypothesis and all about the hypothesis. I wish you all like this video.